In my earlier years, I was studying photography, and when my kids were really young, I have 2 teenage boys now, I decided that I needed to get up away from the computer, because I was doing a lot of photo editing, and I wanted to get more tactile with the work. And so for the last, I don't know, maybe 13, 14 years, I just can't stop painting and trying new things and experimenting, and so I find a lot of joy in that. I grew up in Waltham when I was younger. I moved to Shrewsbury for middle school and high school, right around the corner. I went to Syracuse, to San Francisco, and now I live in Wellesley. And this feels like a really beautiful circular moment for me, because on Saturday I'm about to get keys to my first studio outside of my home, which is in Waltham, where I started. So I'm really excited about all of that, and to have, I'll still have my space on my 3rd floor in my home, but I'll probably mostly do business work there, and then we really have a dedicated space for all of my painting work. So I encourage you to check out my website. I have 9 different collections. This larger piece is from my Exquisite Grit collection, but tonight I'm going to demo my Serendipity Coastal Neon collection. And I think that hopefully you had a chance to take a look at some of the completed pieces from this collection over here. If you're interested in getting on my newsletter list, I am raffling off I have these acrylic blocks. These make great gifts, and they sit up on the shelves. And anyway, there's a sign up here. Feel free to walk around while I'm demoing and taking a look. There's a newsletter list. There's also a slideshow of my artwork installed, and you can get a sense of the different collections that I create. So let's just get into actually making some stuff. So, in preparation for this today, I decided to try some different colored backgrounds. So historically, I've either had a white textured background, I should pull some of these others, or sort of more pastel. So you'll see this can you see that light neon color there? I've done blue backgrounds. Do you guys want to count there? So I've tried this sort of neon yellow background and blue and turquoise. And I'm kind of playing around with darker colors in my work now. So these are just a couple of pieces that I started creating just for this demo. As I was preparing over the last week or so, I just started playing with some new ideas. So I'm going to do my best to create some beautiful pieces tonight, but as you all know, sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. I don't know if they're going to look amazing in the next hour, but we'll see. Do you always finish right away?
They never look the way I want them to.
I will
half the time, right?
I will stick with it, but I'm the type of artist where I'll work on something and then I need to let it sit and I need to come back to it and back and forth and over days and weeks and months. So anyway, so that, but we can, make a really good attempt tonight. I'm totally happy with you guys shouting out questions along the way. Let's keep this dynamic. I'm happy to give you any technical information you want, but I don't want to inundate with too much technical stuff either. But I know I'm in a room full of artists, so I know people like to know what are you using. So the base of the paper that I'm using is the Montvale acrylic. It's by Canson. It's a really thick paper. If you want to come up and touch it and feel it and whatever, you're welcome to, but that is the paper. I'm also going to be using this, it's called marker paper, and it's the Graphics 360. It's a very thin, tissuey paper. I like to have different thicknesses in the work. And I have, if you look at each completed piece, you'll notice there's sort of a combination of beautiful handmade papers that I've collected. So this white dotted pattern would be an example of that, as well as this paper here. I also use these wood stamps and then create my own papers to get this, and this is on that marker paper. And then I have my kind of big abstract piece or bigger abstract pieces on paper that I then cut up or rip up, and those become, you know, these colored elements in here. So let me get started. All right, I'll take a vote. Do you guys want me to start on a solid dark with some scribbles already on it, or should I start on a white? All right, raise your hand for green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, white. Who wants to see white? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, only 12 of you. Like, who's the deciding vote? I didn't. What do you vote for? Because I didn't see a vote.
White.
White. All right, white it is. Okay. This is kind of tough. Is it going to do a decent job of giving you a sense of what I'm doing? That looks so crooked. But again, if you want to look, you know, if you want to come up here and look closer in person, you know, look at it with me, see it in person, you're welcome to. All right, so if I wasn't doing a white background, I would do a little wash of color. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just put, just because I want this to dry, I am just going to take a little bit of a cerulean blue, and I'm going to just actually mix it with a little blue.
This is projecting on this.
I'm just using a golden acrylic paint.
Okay.
Okay, I don't want to make you all nauseous, like moving that around too much. All right, I'm just going to mix this dark color with some cerulean blue, and I'm going to do a little wash on one of the white papers, and then we'll go back. You see that? I have already put a textured gessoed background on all of these. Actually, I should start with that. Let's go backwards. I'm going to take my white paper, start from scratch. I've already, because I didn't want to have to wait for this to dry, I already pre-gessoed a bunch of sheets. But this is how I get the texture. I use a bristle brush, and I love this Liquitex gesso. I like, I even buy bigger quarts of it and then put it back into this bottle because for this purpose, just squeezing it out and getting a bunch of it on there, and then really letting it, I like the brush strokes that this harder bristle brush allows and keeps in there, and then I let it have all those bumps. Now in the case of the green one, what I did, like this green background one piece, I just gessoed it first and then I went back and painted on top of it to keep that texture, okay? Well, we're gonna put this one, just put this on top of my artwork over here because I want that dry. Okay, so now we can go back to this. Oh. Sorry. Now I'm going to continue. I'm just putting this wash onto this piece. Now sometimes, in some cases, I've done washes like you've seen in those original pieces, the pieces that are done. Now I'm playing with more opaque backgrounds.
Oh, that's interesting.
I like to use the paper towel roll to just, I mean, I'm just constantly using the edges of them. I mean, sometimes then I'm pulling off a piece, but I can really just get an interesting wash. I feel like you can see better when I do this, right?
Yes.
Than the projection. So I'll just,
We do both.
we'll do both.
Yeah.
I feel like, does that make you guys sick? That,
I thought at first you were putting the imprints on from the towel on the paper.
well, it does make it, and that's why I go back and wipe, because like, I also use the shop towels, you know, the blue ones, and that they don't have that texture, but, I didn't bring those tonight, but anyway, so I'm just showing you the technique of what I was doing. Yeah, that looks better. When I'm just doing the washes. Okay, so now we're getting back to your vote. Wait. Sorry, I'll get used to it. You can kind of see the texture on that. I'm gonna move this all up. So now I'm gonna just have fun playing with, trying to find a good balance of color and shape and pattern and all of my favorite things. So, actually, I'd like to make this a little bit more interactive. I wasn't planning on doing this, but could I just get a couple volunteers to come up and pick out some elements that they'd like me to work into this piece? Anyone? All right, both of you, Brianna, you can talk too. Just pick out whatever you like. Awesome, thank you. Okay, cool. All right, I can work. All right, so here's what was selected so far. We've got this fuchsia handmade paper. We've got this brown and white with a little blue on it, and we've got a neon with some hunter green. I'm gonna go back and forth between having my reading glasses on here. So I do use scissors, but I also just really love to rip pieces. It's funny because I usually work on these pieces vertically, but it doesn't show as well. So this is like kind of actually, this is good for me. This is a good new challenge. I need some more pieces in this. I'd like to have a balance of the different elements. This, I'm going to play with this for a bit, but then remind me if I forget. I want to show you how I make this as well, these stamped pieces. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but there's just a few little tips that I have. So this is brand new. I just made this sheet this afternoon and haven't played with this yet. But what I'm looking for is just, I like to have dynamic compositions. As you can see, even with my bigger pieces, there's a lot of movement to them. And I'm really sensitive to the way colors play with one another, as hopefully all artists really are. And if I'm playing with paper is just so different than just mixing colors, and it's an added challenge. The other thing that I really enjoy is not just ripping and cutting. So I do like some sharp lines on my edges, and then I also love to use this paper cutter, or these hole punchers. And I don't know if you haven't used these, but I always turn it upside down so I can actually see where I'm cutting and to see what I'm cutting off. Does that make sense? But often with these, so this colored side is really cool, but what I've found is that sometimes just the white underside is nice too, but I think this piece still needs more color. So I want to try to find the right colors that balance. I'm not sure I'm loving that yet, but I've got bags of ripped up. I mean, this is just a portion of what I've got. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. Yeah, am I getting some head nods here? So, but like, right, but I think that we all know or feel as artists that, you know, you took all this time to create this piece and there was something interesting and cool in there. And that, you know, how can I reuse this to make something more beautiful? The overall bigger piece maybe wasn't quite working for me, but how can I sort of upcycle this to make it more interesting? That's kind of like, okay, so it's sort of interesting. It looks like a little bit to me like it's on its side, like just, oh, wait, I can do this, right?
Yes, you can switch that, turn that around.
Oh my gosh. Is this right? Wait, did I mess it up? I still have to do this way? There. I don't know. It just, I think because we're working with a, you know, a screen, so to speak, that's horizontal, that doing it, that's not taking advantage of this wall space that we have. Am I right in that? I think that this is just better for the display. Not as good for my brain. I'm going to say this is the fun. Okay. And I have all kinds of lovely pieces, and sometimes I don't know which side I'm going to use because I've got stamps on this side, but then I've got just this white, messy texture on the other side. So it just, this is looking a little bit light to me overall, and I'm thinking I want a little bit more distinct color. So I'm going to try to sneak in this darker bit. And I feel like this is sort of interesting, but not quite there. And I'm going to put it to the side because that's the way I work. Like I said, I'm not, I don't work in a linear way.
Do you want us to get a card table out too, so you can put some of your work on?
Yeah, like where's like a good, I mean,
Yeah, right
I
here.
could even like just start putting them around as I'm, and then, because I like to work, I think in like series and collections. So it's like, let's get one started, and then to me they visually play off of each other as well. And then, you know, if I were at home, I'd probably have another table like set up here. I'd have a little L shape, and I would just be like looking at them. Or sometimes I just put them down on the ground because you get a little bit more perspective, right? You can stand back. When I'm working large, fantastic. Ooh, these, I like the colors. This is cool. Oh my God, look at that, it's done. Woohoo! Good job, guys. That's actually really interesting. I'm digging that. Thank you. Wait, is this up? Wait, was this everything that's on it?
Yes.
Was this on it too?
No.
Was that, okay.
They can be, though.
Okay, cool. Thank you, I love it.
Maybe some.
This one, do I even want to touch this one?
That's good.
It looks pretty cool. Let's see, I'm gonna put this on an angle a little bit.
Oh, I just took away the ice cream cone.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it away. just trying to see if there's a better.
It's not an ice cream cone anymore.
This is awesome. I love this back. Wait, where was it?
It was like you had to turn it the other way.
It's like the circles. It's like
Circles of ice cream.
No.
Oh, was it like
No, that one at the top, or I'm at the top.
Yeah, you have to turn it.
Turn it,
Keep
turn
turning.
it again,
Turn it again.
turn it
That
again.
way, yep.
Right there you go.
Down low. Don't cover the ice
I don't know. I don't know. All right, somebody come with this one. Oh,
Basically, that's it. Yeah, you go.
oh, like that.
Yeah.
There it is. It's better, but it's better. It's not exactly.
It's like looking
And
at
that's
that
what
with
I
a-
Who wants ice cream now? That's
You can make a beach scene, so.
all right. Is there really any room for improvement on this piece? Let me. I'm just going to. Like I'm liking these edges. Did I mess it? You're messing up.
It was.
My mom's telling me I messed it up. Oh my god.
Thank God you don't have all these people in your studio.
Seriously, I know. I know.
The creations are faster.
The ice cream cone's not right. It's not quite right.
Slide it down a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
More ice cream.
Is anything more ice cream now? Is that, that's still not working for you?
The piece at the top is wrong. The sort of the fuchsia piece at the top, you gotta
Would you come
eliminate
fix
that.
it?
Just eliminate it.
You don't like it?
Find something else. No, it's really fighting with the other color.
I was trying to make
This
it
is
work,
artwork
so it was
by committee.
selected.
Well, that's why I work alone.
Same. All right, I'm,
She's trying to use the selected pieces, right? That was-
yeah, exactly.
That one a little better, don't you? That
I like the pattern.
lavender
You like this pattern? Yeah.
off to the right, it picks up the lavender next to the ice cream cone.
Oh my gosh. The internal dialogue going on right now. I don't know. All right, this one.
And there, that's kind of there.
I feel like this is sort of a group collage with a lot of opinions. I think, you know what, whoever wants to perfect that and move the ice cream cone where it's supposed to be, I am totally fine with that. This can be an interactive demo. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next one. This has actually a lot of really cool layers to it that are similar. So, but it didn't come in a particular arrangement. Which is what I'm supposed to do anyway, so. Hold on. This one's kind of, sometimes they just land. This one's not. Wait, what was the comment? I want to hear all the comments. All right. So this one's sort of a softer piece, but kind of lovely.
I like a lot of like stacking.
Yeah, I'm liking the stacking too. I'm gonna just see if I brought in a little bit of a darker, so this pattern with just a little bit of darkness. Like sometimes it's just even like the little side of something. Let's see what it does in there. To ground the eye just a little bit better, like just something. Of course, it's like having too many cooks in the kitchen, right? Like everybody's gonna have a different opinion.
When you're assembling these, do you have any materials that are like translucent, like tissue, that would let the underneath show through?
Yes, so this paper, the marker paper does that when the glue hits it.
Because that might make the transitions
It's like a blending, yes, it very much does that. It's, yeah, it's quite lovely. Let me see. Yeah, so, I'll show you guys, but do you see like this piece here where you can see some of the black come through? And then this, this is that marker paper here, and you can see where the neon red's coming through behind there. So I'm gonna step out front. So what I was showing him is that we've got some of the black showing through here, and then this marker paper is more like a tissue paper as well, and that you can see the red, the neon red kind of coming through this, the wood block print here. So, yes, I do love playing with that, with the translucency and the opacity differences. There's something really interesting about this piece. I think I want to try to bring one more dark element, but I really like the layering. I just want, ideally I'd have a little bit more contrast in here, but I don't think it needs to be, it might just even be like the
If you're local, I think you'd all say that's the aqueduct that we have.
Yeah, that's what I was listening.
Oh, how funny. I can't picture that aqueduct, but I've seen others, and I can appreciate that. Arch. Yeah, I love arches. I use them all the time in my work. This is like a little boot or something. I don't know. And it's like even tucking it and just getting just the smallest amount of it, of that little darkness. I think, you know how it is with art. It's just these, sometimes the tiniest little shifts make a difference. So, maybe. I added some dark. I'm going to come back to this one too and let this one live out in the world here. Let's see. Here. I like that. All right. Would someone else like to come up and select some pieces? You know what? Let's try the green one now.
Tom's turn.
How are we doing on time? Yes, I am.
Yeah, we have plenty of time.
Hmm?
Yeah, we're doing good.
We're doing well? You let me know when you want to do a little break. Okay. Ooh, I like this. All right, these four. All right. Thank you for making my life easier, because these color choices will look so striking on the screen.
I like the paper with the green. And like also like the pink,
You
like
like
little
it?
lines too.
Yes. I'm loving it too, but I'm gonna put some holes in this one. Actually, I might just do like a little, do it on the edge. Let's see. No, I don't like that. No, I need to rip it. Nope. I think it's not enough contrast. Maybe here. I really like this piece too. I'm gonna use more of this, but I think just scatter the other piece, and I love having that, this white rich edge there. I think looks cool. up, this shape is looking too intense for me, and I think we need another like bridge aqueduct moment. Let's see. Now I could take something like this and kind of rip it down. And I've got these. I really want to know what my mom's sister was saying.
I'm not telling you.
Wow, that bad, huh? I thought I was gonna have support here tonight.
I think, I mean, this is the non-artist in me. I'm thinking you need some of that green from the background, like on the top.
Oh, so maybe if I brought some of this, that green from this.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I'd like to see some of the green peek through the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring the red piece down.
Yeah.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
pull the pink
Yes.
there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, I like this.
Because it broke up
I'm okay with that, you don't hate that? Alright. I'm gonna take that as a
Looks done.
compliment. That looks done to you? But wait,
Don't mess with it.
but I think I just need a little bit more balance.
And where's the ice cream cone?
What ice cream?
You could fix it right now. You can go fix it right now.
That's interesting. I don't, but now, so I did this like scribble line work before, and now I'm not loving that on this piece. But I could go over that with paint later. Or I,
No.
Do you have something small and orange? So you'd have the complement of that green, and right in the middle, above that white upside down aqueduct, where you've got that,
here?
yep, up, no, you can go along the aqueduct,
Yeah.
but raise it.
Someplace it.
I didn't know we were gonna have to work it.
This is the worst demo ever.
No, I think it's fun, it's interactive. I like this much better, it's not boring.
It's not boring, it's good.
Audience participation.
That's right.
Let's do this one.
So she actually does do that. I mean, she would give
This
us
one?
That's all in a right way at a time.
this is get together.
It does fit the green on it.
Big presents and they get to
All right.
what they created.
Well, let's see what the group thinks of this. What do we think?
But she'll have like just
Wait, it's orange, is that also?
I'm not crazy about the white aqueduct. It's too white, it's too white.
This doesn't have any paint in it either. It was like not textured enough.
I do like that orange piece that just got.
Yeah, you guys too. Is that green?
That wasn't me. That was that. And what's your name?
Joseph.
Joseph. That was Joseph. That was all Joseph.
No, don't add more orange. I think you just want that orange is the focal.
Just that.
But if you had something like, see your patterned thing at the top, if you had something like at that level of tone, you know, something subtle.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
It makes your eye move.
It made my eye move,
Right.
and it covered up some of the line
But then
work that was
it
bugging me.
flows.
It gets too much.
Yeah. All right. I think.
Yeah.
Let's.
Do you need more chairs or table or?
There's a bench over there.
Yeah.
Benches.
Oh, yeah. Should I move the bed like?
Oh, no, look, there's,
It could be a roving art display.
Can we move? Christine, or Bill, can you help me move do we want to move that big bench? Because it's like a nice, it's like a this is great. Let's just,
Okay, she's got it.
That's not party, so furniture.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Any whatever. Yeah, like let's line them up. Love it. Yeah, all this artwork making. Brilliant. I think we're gonna have to like grade them at the end. Did I think where's the black? Move the ice cream cone. Black background.
Oh, so next week it's color frame.
You're going to see the nudes at the Chain
All right.
Museum.
Why don't we do one more and then we
Yes, I saw that.
found it?
Yeah.
You taking a picture?
Disturbed me was the one where it started off as a male and then she.
Okay, would a few other people like to come up and pick up some pieces? You can come up a second time if you've already been up, isn't that?
I meant to send pictures to my friend in London to say, the tape came to me, because I've been to the tape.
Well, Lucian Freud is one of my favorite painters.
Which one?
Lucian Freud.
I don't know that one.
He's the one that did the nude woman on the pile of white rags.
Oh, yeah. You just put stuff on top of that one?
Well, that's something
This one?
really recent for me, because I just realized I couldn't put doing scenes without people.
Yeah, because I remember you had one over on
I'm not sure if I'm loving this
Island Street, it was a,
background yet, so I think
on
what
a
I would
couch.
do is just start. Like, I'm not sure I love that there's this dark, I feel like my eye's gonna go here.
For the contrast.
Because they're contrasting, because I had the gesso on this area and then the darker areas where it just hit paper, so it was like a sponge and just absorbed in there, and because I wiped off the other bits that were on the gesso. So, good question. I think with this one, I would be curious first before I painted over it to just, oh, sorry. But I know that like this is gonna be too distracting to my eye for this piece.
Yeah, I think that's where you need that translucence.
Yes. So I think I would probably put this in the category of, I like this color, I will maybe try that on another piece and be more careful and intentional about the placement of the paint.
What if you,
And I could always paint over this.
devil's advocate, what
With
if you tore the edges and tore that off so you had feathered edges on your paper?
Yeah, like just the edges?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you thinking more of like a very imperfect, like I'm tearing the other pieces,
Yeah.
or are you thinking of like a deckled edge where it's still straight?
Just
like,
imperfect edges.
yeah. I like that.
The texture of it would add to what you're doing in
Yeah.
the middle.
I could, and then I always think about like, okay, then I've got to float frame it, right? Like I'm thinking already about how I'm gonna display it, right? How I'm gonna finish it. But yeah, I love a deckled edge too. I'd have to play with whether so let's just say like this is, who cares? Like why don't we just do that, right? So if I started taking, let's see if I like that. Because I don't know until I do it, because I'm an artist that doesn't see the future. I just have to be in the process and try it.
And if you don't want to float it, why not just glue that now down to a larger sheet?
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's true, you could do that too. There's so many, yeah, so that's, that's kind of cool. Thank you. Yes, yes. And then, yes, we could glue it to another sheet like this.
That's what I was doing, the same thing.
We could also glue it to a sheet that was dark, like another color.
Torso with two nipples.
Oh my God, this, you do all these ideas I'm gonna walk away with. I actually really love this.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
I think that I really love
If you don't
that.
have to even keep in with your papers on, you can go off the edge a little bit even and, you know. you can all kinds of
Absolutely,
crazy
so let's
stuff.
just do that, 'cause why not? Oh, all right, we got some new, oh, and it's the teal, this colorway actually looks really pretty on that color.
That's a really good acronym.
So we're thinking about just like going over the edge.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
You're right.
Okay, so I've got, this is, so Briella shows a lot of, it's all from like the same painting and all very similar. So I'm gonna, you know, use my artistic license, which is why we're here, to also maybe add, I think we need some more orange.
So do you take paintings that you've done and tear them apart
Yeah,
and use them?
yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, and sometimes like I found, I start to like take, you know, a piece like that's already glued down that I like, and then I'm like, I don't really like this. I might have to take this glove off to do this. And I start ripping the pieces off the piece, and that's kind of cool too. Like sometimes you just, I think that this, for me, art making is just, actually I really like that. And then I have this other cool piece, and sometimes I'll just use the front of it with the paint on it, but sometimes I'll just use the back of it because there's a really great texture to it. So yeah, when I first started creating well, I'll say like when I was an undergrad at Syracuse, I remember having my photography work and having critiques and putting the work up, and we'd have like tack boards where we would do our critiques, and I wouldn't even want to put a tack through the edge of the photographic paper. Like I just, like, you know, put the tack in at the edge so it was just holding the piece in there but not damaged. I was so precious about everything I made. And it was like, I didn't, and I think there's, for me, the idea of not being so precious about it and being in the process and just experimenting and having fun with it and allowing myself to make a lot of mistakes. And, you know, then to get a great recommendation, why don't you just rip the edges and like just do it? Well, okay, well let's just try that. Like, I think that for me, it's the part that can be maddening because I'm always pushing. I get bored if I'm creating the same type of thing over and over again, so I'm constantly trying to push my own comfort zone. And it can lead to, you know, sometimes the creative process being really annoying. But, because it's not like I'm just doing the same thing over and over, and that I know, like, I don't allow myself to get into a groove where I know I have a process that I know works every time. I like being in the mystery. I like being in the uncertainty. Although it is maddening at times, but anyway, that's my spiel. But I actually just liked that this was before, you can kind of see, and this was just with the ripped off a little bit. So anyway, it's just, and you know, I could go back and just play with these things, but let me see if I can get this one looking decent, and then we can take a little break, and then, I'll show you, how I do the stamping, and then how I glue them down. Does that sound good?
That's good.
Okay, cool.
Your first instinct usually is the one that everyone likes.
I know, I put something down, everybody's like, don't touch it! Don't touch it!
Yeah, you gotta reverse.
You just took that big piece out, that was really good.
You liked this one?
The big piece and then the orange, other
I
orange.
take that other
Did
one.
anyone not like this?
Like an urban scene.
Everybody likes it?
I had a picture of it.
Whatever else you had before.
Yeah, you had like an orange, that
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, you have like this orange piece at the bottom.
That was on the lower left. Well,
You have that too.
not there.
Everyone's like, put it back where it was.
Your first
Here's
instinct
that's
is
an experiment. We don't want just good, we want
You almost have to take
amazing.
a photo as you go, oh yeah, that's the piece.
That's,
No,
It was like, it was something like
no,
that.
he's up at the top.
no,
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 Too messy.
no.
This one is a no, is
Yeah.
that what everybody's saying, no?
The other one up at the top too.
Wait, no, I like to flip
that
around.
little strip.
What, this one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's, yeah, interfering with the aqueduct.
Okay, what is an aqueduct, I have to
It's
ask?
where the water gets traveled, so it has like arches where the river can go through and the road can go through.
And that's in
But the
Northborough
big
thing?
thing, and the
No,
water
it's a
carries
road thing.
along the inside.
The Romans started it.
I
Okay.
think it's like,
Like a bridge or?
yeah,
Yeah,
and the
looks like a
water
bridge,
goes,
basically.
it's a state.
But there's a lot of them in Northborough or something in
There's
this area?
one famous one on
It's too
Hudson
much for
Street,
me.
it's just right over there.
Oh,
Well, you can see it now.
oh,
But it goes,
Yes.
yeah, it goes right next to the Assabet River, and so it's very safe. A lot of the members of this club have done beautiful paintings with the aqueduct.
nice.
It's like comic. Oh dear.
Well, what did you
Oh,
do
dear.
here? Turn
It
around.
goes that way.
Nobody's liking mine.
That's something to remember, take a picture as you go, and then you can go back and see which one.
So I do take a picture, when I come back.
Yeah.
Wait, am I,
I like,
it's okay?
I like the teal strip with the little aqueduct. Like,
Yeah, like the bottom part, take out the two top pieces.
Take out the white thing.
Yeah.
No, don't like the white thing. Too white.
Take out the white thing and put some orange in there. I don't know,
I feel like I want a white thing, but that one doesn't have any paint on it, and it doesn't have any texture.
oh, I like the yellow.
It's
Oh, yeah, I actually kind of like
The yellow front sheet.
that. If you flip it upside down, it looks like a city with like the blue sky in the background.
I love when people see an abstract work. I mean, and this is one of those things, like, it's just,
She wants to do it herself.
This is not my kind of art either, so it's got something
I
else.
see you do something with your cutouts. Whatever, like circles and half circles or whatever. You use those
Oh,
also.
yeah, like you use.
so I do have another series that I call portals, that is just circles.
Oh, okay.
I do that. I'm actually liking this. You guys can, I want you guys to see this in person, because it looks different than the projected version, and then, yeah, we can take, why don't we, take our little intermission break, get up and stretch, kind of give me your feedback.
We have refreshments up here, so help yourself.
Thank you.
For that hard work 2 years.
Meet Diane, that's a very good idea.
Goes, if you work in acrylics, and you want to preserve your paints, Masterson makes this palette paper that's thick, and you wet that as well, and, so you have this nice environment, to keep paints for a few weeks in here. So the really wonderful thing about that is that if I was stamping, I can take my marker paper, which is just a tad thicker than like a tissue paper, and I can put that on here, like into the palette, so that, if you've ever seen like them do hand block videos, or, if you've seen people in India doing this, for printing on fabric, they have kind of a soft, spongy surface underneath, and it just makes for, I think, the best stamp. Again, I am not about perfection with my work, so I'm not looking to get a perfect stamp each time, but it's nice to at least get it to really, be able to be visible.
So you use acrylic paint for your stamps?
Yeah, so I just squeezed out some cobalt violet hue, one of my favorites right now. And I'm going to take one of these rubbery spatula type things and just kind of like a printmaker would do. And inevitably they're going to get corrected and moved and changed when, even if I crush them all together and transfer it, it might not.
Excuse?
We vote on some favorites. I don't know quizzes easily.
You could probably put it under the camera there and we could look.
We could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want me to, or here, I'll do this. You're taking pictures. Oh, I love it. You're documenting. Okay. Okay, so the green one is option 1. Yeah.
That's a yes.
That's a yes for Christine.
Yeah, I like it.
Or Briella. Okay. Here's option 2. How am I going to keep these? Option 3. Option 4.
The ice cream.
The ice cream cone, I know, actually the ice cream cone probably needs to survive tonight, huh? Or maybe, or just the legend, the story. Okay, and number 5 was the one with the ripped edges. Okay, let's do, I don't know how to do this mode. All right, who likes number 1?
That's the green one?
It's a small amount.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
like 4 or
like
5
that one.
people. Number 1, the green one, yeah. Okay, number 2? No. Number 3? Okay, 2? This one?
I like the ice cream.
Okay,
I like the
4
green
ice
one and
cream?
the ice cream. Yeah, I feel like I like the green and the ice cream.
Can we vote for 2?
Yeah.
I know, we're gonna do 2.
Okay, well, I like the ice cream one too.
Okay, so
I like the ice cream, the green one's nice,
I like the ice
How come
cream.
it's different?
the green one and the ice cream?
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna glue down. Okay. We're gonna put these aside.
Yeah.
Okay, so, first step, I'm just gonna have to move this out of the way of the camera for a second because I'm gonna take a picture with my phone because, I can use it to line everything up and get it right. Because, this one doesn't have too many layers, but, obviously it's all,
I think there's a rabbit trying to happen in that little white corner.
there's a rabbit. So I'm going to try to get this as accurate as I can. I'm going to use PPA matte glue. So this is archival, excuse me, UV resistant, permanent, all the good things. I like to use the best materials that I can and make sure that they're going to be archival and last and not yellow and all of that. So,
Do you have to get that in an art store? Or art supply? or something?
I think I got this off Amazon. This one, yeah, I definitely got that one off Amazon.
Do you get like most of like your stuff off Amazon or like do you
I get most of my stuff through like art materials. I get some things at Michael's locally, and some on Amazon. And then for paints, I mostly use golden paint, but I also use an acrylic paint called Nova Color. It's out of California, and so I order direct from their website as well. So I think that covers most of my supplies. Okay, so I'm gonna put my glasses on just to be a little more precise about this. But since the peacock feather piece is really the base here, with this one being underneath. Actually, I'm gonna take this one out first and glue it. I like to have a piece of cardboard, like this thin board. This is like the back side of some paper, I think the Canson paper, the bigger size. I like to keep those and then use them. So when I'm gluing, I'm not gluing onto the fabric or my table. I can just glue right onto that cardboard and not care about that. I'm just pulling the image back up so I can try to align this the way it would position it, just the way it was. Like on this side like that. Okay. So it's going to get tucked back in here. And I'm trying to be careful not to get glue on the front of the piece, and that's why I always keep paper towels around too, just to try to keep my gloves and hands clean. But I'm also, because it's a matte finish on the glue, I even tried with the black. Usually with a dark background, like you really see the glare of the glue, and that drives me nuts. And I don't see it at all on this. Like, I'm really pleased with how this glue is dries. So I'm going to keep this piece intact, and I know that this gluing is going to be critical to you all. I'm going to do my best. So I'm going to try to keep these two together and put those away. And I don't even want to move this big piece because you guys scare me. And if I was in my own studio, I'd just pick it up and I'd align it as best I can and move it around. But you are precise, and I want to make sure that I get that in the right place. So I'll get one side down first and then the other. I'm not sure if my family's going to be invited to the next demo. No, you guys have made it fun. I appreciate
Glue is that?
keeping it real. Huh?
What kind of glue is that?
So it's PPA matte. You can take a picture of it if you want.
Oh, okay.
It's permanent, archival, UV resistant. It's all the good things. It's
Okay.
it's a good one. Okay. All right.
Good luck.
I'm actually gonna take the cone and I'm going to glue it onto the other piece first. And it looks like it was just, I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna really make sure that this is right. Okay, it's covering the teeniest bit, I know you can't see that, of the side of the circle, and it's going off the edge of this piece. So I think I have the position of the cone on there, and now I'm going to get the back of this and then get that into position. I really do prefer to use a brush.
So once you lay that down, it sticks permanently? I mean, you can't, if you couldn't move it.
No, it will not, and I will show you what so I basically, that's what these heavy books are for.
Oh.
So, okay, let's make sure. You guys are witnessing this, I'm gonna do my best. Yeah, the other white pieces come back. It was covering that. It's the aqueduct that's coming back. And it looks like it was not covering the blue of that. I think this angle is slightly off. See, there's just a little bit of blue on here. Okay, so I'm pushing this whole thing down, but to your point, it's not going to just all stay without, being held down for a longer period of time. So I've got that piece. Now I just have this
The critical piece.
This is the critical alignment to really make sure we get our ice cream cone here. All right, I'm feeling nervous. I think I think I need a little cheering here. All right, so there. So that is going there. Stop with the whispering. Tell the truth. Does that look right? Are you guys looking at your own photos to confirm?
It's a little off from the,
Well, maybe not.
What feels
oh, yes, the earless.
All right, what do you guys think?
I like.
Like this? Or like this?
Like that.
Like this. Okay, so here we go. We got our ice cream cone. I thought I'd get some applause or something. Seems skeptical. So, we had a great question about it sticking down. So it will stick, but we need to get some help. What I've found is a combination of these nice heavy books and, where's my, these like sheets of plastic. I feel like they should be right here. Okay. I have, you know, the acrylic blocks that I get, they get wrapped up in this, so I just keep it. You could probably use bubble wrap or something else, or like wax paper or something. But I just find that works. And I, generally, I just sort of leave it overnight. But I was doing some tests over the last week or so, and I found that even like 20 minutes kind of did the trick.
Wow.
I mean, it might not be fully dry, but they didn't start curling up, or like they really did. It really did dry that quickly. So, all right, let's do this piece now. And again, I'm going to take a picture. Let's scooch it back here so I can see it. Okay. Okay, so we have a few big pieces. I think I'm going to start with this corner one. And if you guys have any other questions to ask me about this process while I'm gluing.
Would you put any kind of meeting over the top when it's done?
I don't for these because they get framed under glass.
Okay.
And I don't see any like visual benefit
Right.
for it. Like I think that it might actually flatten the piece a little bit visually to do it. So I don't. I do typically varnish on my larger pieces on canvas, but not for these collage pieces. I think this one, it's tucked under, I'll just do this.
How long would you say, like, on average, like, it takes you, like, to, like, really be like, okay, like, this is how this piece is gonna go, like, I'm not doing it at all?
Like one of these collage pieces?
Yes. Well, like, could it be, like, really any time?
I would say, I really do work the way I did tonight. So I would, let's say I start like one day I'm creating like 10 of them, right? And they're all in different stages. And there's probably one or two that I'm thinking, oh, that looks like pretty well done, but let me see what it looks like in the morning with fresh eyes and so forth. But as I start to bring all of the pieces sort of together, I think with these pieces, maybe like anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks, something like that. You know, and often like I'm not just working on these, like I'm also working on bigger pieces, and I really just try to, I gotta move this one, this is bluesy. I can't just scoot it under the way I'd like to. So, yeah, so I might be working on a bigger piece like that, or, then doing, business stuff, marketing. So it's not that I'm like constantly working like that. It's like an 8-hour, thing. It's like it might be an hour each day, or over a short period, relatively short period of time for me. These aren't pieces I labor over for like months, like I would with a bigger piece. Okay. So I think I just need to get to this other. Do any of you do collage work? No.
No.
You guys are missing out. Who's inspired to do some collage work? Oh, good. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, that's, hopefully I've just given you all some inspiration just to kind of get going on your own.
So I've done some, but not to show anybody.
Sure, yeah, you're right. Like you've experienced the art of collage, but it's not something you've really delved into deeply. Okay, so. I think that's pretty good. And then we got these guys here. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them as I finish this up. I'm off a little bit here.
And did you start doing this process in college, or did you do it after, or?
For this particular series,
Well, for just the collage part,
I did not do any of this in college because I studied photography both as an undergrad and a grad student. So I was always like a more painterly photographer. I was always fine art, and I would paint on top of my photographs, but I wasn't doing anything like this in school. This is all, so I graduated from graduate school in 2003. I started like that same month as when 9/11 happened in 2001. And then finished 2 years later. And then, but I didn't start painting until 2012. I finished in 2003 and then was still doing photography up through, like full time until then. Okay, so I will.
Different artwork, and then if something didn't work, like when you took a big piece of canvas that you had done and then you ripped it and tore it and made it into small.
Yeah,
This is
sure.
These collage kind
Oh,
of things is
that's
somewhat of a
interesting.
pattern
Okay, that's.
in your art history.
Sure, that's an interesting story. So, my mom's referring to, so I did a series called, I'd gone to, well, my family and I had traveled all over Europe for 8 weeks one summer. It was 2016. And we were in this like really cool Airbnb in Sweden, and it was like on the water, on the pier, like literally the, it was like stilts on top of the water in the marina. It was so cool. And anyway, there was this really cool like fabric canvas flag that wasn't like of a country or a state or whatever. It was just like kind of artsy. And I was really inspired, so I made this whole series of flags. And I don't sew, so I had somebody else make them. Well, they didn't sell very well. They were really cool, and they're still on my website if you're interested in seeing them. I'm doing my best to get this aligned properly. It's kind of cool. So anyway, they were great, and people loved them, but they just didn't find like places in their homes, and they didn't sell. So, but what I was doing, so I was taking, to make these flags, I was creating huge paintings. So they were like, maybe like 8 feet by 5 feet. And I was sort of stretched the canvas, would paint these big abstract pieces, and then cut those up and have somebody sew them into these flags. You'll have to look at my website to see them. And I would, because I was just using a small snippet of it, there were all this leftover canvas from these big paintings. So I had 6 huge paintings plus then solid paint, the abstract painted pieces, and then sort of these solid stripes that I would mix in as well. And in 2020, when we were all in lockdown from COVID, I saw these rolls of these old canvases that had not been sewn into these flags. And so I took them and reworked them, and I ripped them into smaller pieces so you have the frayed edge of the canvas, and that then became my From the Fray collection. So you can also see that on my website. So that's what you were talking about, right, Mom?
And then you framed, you had them framed in that.
So there you're framed, they're float framed so that the frayed edges show, and they're really beautiful. And I actually just made my latest collection. It's called the Uplift collection that I finished last year, and it's kind of dedicated to my brother who he lost unexpectedly last year. Really sucks. So I use my art as a way to heal and process like my own grief and things that I've gone through. So yeah, so that Uplift series is part of that From the Fray. That really means a lot to me. So yeah, so thank you for asking. Yeah, so this is the second piece, and so that still needs to get flattened, but I think you can see some of the transparency and things that are starting to happen with these, where you can see some of that green coming through. That just adds a little bit of extra dimension. I think that's, with the gluing process, it does change them a little bit, and I don't know, just makes them a little bit more interesting, I think. So, and sometimes I think it's kind of cool to see them kind of curling up, and I sometimes want to play with that too, where they're not all flattened perfectly down, but then I don't want them falling apart either. So try to find that balance. But anyway,
Okay, well, thank you. Yes.
yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being really good sports and like just interacting with me, and so I didn't have to have a monologue up here for an hour and a half or so. And as I'm cleaning up, if you have more questions or want to ask me anything, let me know. Oh, did anyone sign up? Should I?
I did.
All right. Did anyone? So I'm going to raffle off an acrylic block right now. You can choose from any of them. I've got 3 people on the list. Does anyone else want to get on the email list before I make a?
You better sign up. Everyone better sign up.
Yeah, sign up. You want to sign up? Okay. There's a pen right here. Yeah, no pressure. It does put you on my collector's list, but I don't want to pull that off. Well, any feedback while they're doing that? Anything I could have done better? I'm always looking to improve. Like,
That was the interactive aspect.
you like the interact?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we
Awesome.
done?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, no, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody
very good.
choosing things, I thought that was really great.